welcome. This is a pre-recorded live that I'm doing. I've started doing these. I pre-recorded, but I will be in the chat talking to you all. I have to do these right now for the meantime, so please let me know how they go. Just because I have a lot on my plate and I still want to get lives going. So yeah, just putting it out there. Please like the video. And if you're watching this, it's your first time to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, please subscribe if you like what you see. I have tons of videos. I've been doing this almost now for 3 years. I'm very grateful. Very grateful to all of you who have watched. If it's your first time watching, thank you for watching. And yeah, I have 2 memberships available. If you're interested, check out the membership tab. I'm doing this pre-recorded live because a lot has been coming out about Diddy. You know, I am from New York, even though I grew up in South Africa and England. I was born in New York. I was born in Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn for a total of 12 years. 12 years, right? Yeah. My heart definitely belongs in New York. That's what I call home. That's what I feel is my home. Even though I've had a love-hate relationship with that place. I only say that to say that being in New York, I heard a lot of rumors about Diddy. I was invited to Diddy parties. I didn't go because I just got a bad feeling about it, you know. One of them was actually in Soho, and I believe Kelly Catrone was going to be there. Like, she was part of it. But anyways, long story short, in New York, there have been rumors for a long time about Diddy. I even spoke about a story I heard when I worked at a hotel in New York. I'm not going to say the hotel because I don't want to expose them. But one of the security guards came to you one day and he said he saw Diddy dragging Cassie by the hair. And he said he saw him really drunk. It was like 1 a.m. And he saw that and he was just so stunned that he left, you know. Because he said he saw it like... I can't remember the full story because this was 7 years ago. But he said he saw it through like a mirror or something. But again, I don't know the full story because this was 7 years ago. So there've been stories and stories and stories about Diddy throughout the years. It's just unfortunate that it's taken this long. That's why when Cassie came out, I totally believed her. I knew, you know, I don't necessarily believe victims. I think just listen. And a lot of people just need to listen. You know, sometimes your opinion can be saved at the end. You don't have to automatically just give an opinion. You don't have to give advice. Just listen to the person. It's something I had to learn when I went to school for health coaching. They taught us that. Just listen. You know, it's okay to not speak and just to let the person vent, say what they need to get off their chest. And maybe it's not your place to say anything, you know. But I think way too many people are quick to have an opinion about a situation that A, they don't know anything about, or B, they just want to get it out their way, you know. So my advice to everybody, including myself, listen. So I decided to do this live just about his different situations with women that we have known of, that's public. It's funny because I said that I see a woman, and I saw it being Aubrey, like somebody that used to work for him coming up. I'm just remembering now. So I might do a live about that too, about his former partners, business associates and stuff like that, that he either screwed over or they felt wronged by him. And I'm sure there's a lot of people. In fact, I predicted that there would be a class action lawsuit that would come out against him by his former recording artist, that's what I'm looking for. Sorry, it's been a long day, it's very hot, I can't have my AC on, so just bear with me. Okay, so we're gonna solve Misa Hilton, who is the mother of his first child. I believe his name's Wolf, which is actually a really cool name. I like the name Wolf. Who people have said they had a very toxic relationship, and you know, like I said, it's not my place to say anything. I'm just going to read what the cards tell me. I don't want to have an opinion too much about this because it is a very sensitive subject. And we can clearly see that he has a horrible temper. Horrible temper. And it must have been horrible dealing with him, you know. And I think he chooses what makes it so impactful, you know, watching that video of him and Cassie. She's really clearly trying to leave. She's not being an aggravator at all. And all the women that I've seen him with, through videos, through photos, you can just tell that he is the aggressor, you know, which is not always the case, because men do go through DV issues too. But in his situation, from all his exes, you can clearly tell that they are meek, and they are it's funny I said meek, and you know, Meek Mills, they are meek, and their demeanor is defeated. It's so sad. If any of you are going through a situation like this, please speak to somebody. And if one person doesn't believe you, keep speaking about it till somebody does. There are many options to get out of a situation like that. So with Misa Hilton, I did past, present, and future, and the general energy. With the past 5 wands, I think she ended the relationship because she got tired of being one of many. I definitely see her ending it, and I see her leaving and not coming back. I see her like running away. Just so sad. And she didn't want to be one of the many, you know. I've always thought that was a red flag, and I used to tell people that, you know. And looking back about conversations that I've had about Diddy, about other powerful men who clearly don't have respect for women, people's response really shows you who the person is, you know. Sometimes people would say, oh, well, he has money. I'm like, so what? I've dated men with money who don't treat me like that, you know. But there have been a lot of women around him, which made me uncomfortable, you know. It's like, he's meant to be with Cassie, but he's still with Kim, you know, stuff like that. It was very, I would feel bad if I were in their situation. And granted, we don't know the full scope, but it just made me feel uncomfortable. So I see her that she ran, Misa ran, and she didn't come back. She didn't want to be one of many. She is the sun in Capricorn, and I think they met through work, that kind of thing. A lot of Capricorns, they meet their partners through work because they're very work driven. So at the present, 2 of Pentacles, I see here, and this actually brings me back to the statement that she made. She feels like she had to sacrifice some of herself in order to live a humble life, in order to still get money, in order to... She's very well, and Capricorns, Sunny Capricorns do that sometimes, and I'm not so crazy about it. They'll condone certain aspects of somebody if it suffices their monetary value, you know. If they're getting something from it, they're like, oh yeah, that person's cool. And it's like, no, that person is literally demonic, you know. So I see her toying between coming forward and telling the full truth, or taking money, or living a lavish lifestyle. So she's really grappling with that. With the future, being Queen of Wands, I see her writing a book, writing some kind of article or book, something that will be financial, because she's very finance based. I can just see that. And with the general energy being the Empress, she's going to be like the mother of all the children for all of them. Yeah, so that's what I pick up. I'd love to be able to say in the comment section, in the live, I will be replying back. So let's move on to the second one, which is Kim Porter. Now this one is very, she has Sun in Sagittarius. Her birthday is December 15th. Let's see. I'm going to pull up past, present, and future with Kim Porter and Diddy. Or Puff, they call them. Oh no, my cards are falling. Interesting. So, with the past, death and rebirth, even though she's passed on, this is not what I mean. This death card does not represent that. When they met, he felt like she could revive his career. And I just did a Diddy video. You've either already seen it or it's going to come out very soon, when this premieres. But with him, when he met her, he felt like, she can help me revive my career. She can help me. She can help me. She can help me. He's a very me person. And he was going to kind of attach his personality to hers. Attach her personality to his, excuse me, in order to become famous. That's all he wanted. He used her energy. And you know, this is something about Sun and Scorpios. He is a Sun and Scorpio, and I say it all the time. I don't believe all people of a specific zodiac are bad or whatever, but there are some signs that are prone to certain things. And with Sun and Scorpios, as much as I love Sun and Scorpios, it's one of my favorite signs, they need to make sure that they're thinking about other people too, because sometimes they can become very jaded and get into some serious darkness, you know, the kind of darkness that's hard to get out from. Yeah. And I see him, because of that, just me. The darkness has clouded his judgment and how he deals with other people. So the Queen of Pentacles being the present, even though she's passed on, he's still reaping a lot of the benefits he had from being with her. He reaped a lot from her. He's basically, I think he killed her spirit. And I don't necessarily think anything was tampered with, but I do think he sucked so much of her energy. And I think it was a spiritual harvest. I really do. I think spiritually he killed her soul, and that led to ultimately her death. I definitely believe that. That's why it's so important to make sure you are very careful of who you hang around with. Because I think him sucking her soul, treating her badly, using her, all those things, it got to her. And you know, I grew up mostly in South Africa, and we believe a lot in this energetic, you know, and people, I feel like especially in Western culture, will excuse energy. Every other society acknowledges energy and spiritual forces, except for Western culture. And that's something I critique Western culture about, because it's all around us, you know. And that's why it's so important to be careful who you hang out with, because you can have energy vampires literally sucking your life, reaping benefits that you have done, you have made, and they take the credit for it, you know. So I see that very strongly, is that I don't necessarily think that there was a tampering of her self-worth, but he sucked her dry. And I see her being a very sweet soul, very sweet soul. So with the Knight of Swords being the future, a lot of what happened to her is going to come to light. A lot of what happened to her is going to come to light. And it's almost like she, you know how Sagittarius are, Sun and Sagittarius, they have stories to tell, you know. And if she can't tell her story, she's going to get somebody else to tell her story for her. I wouldn't be surprised if she comes to her friends' dream, stuff like that. But she's gonna get her story out. One way or another, people are going to hear about how wrong he was to her, how badly he treated her. And what we've heard is just the beginning. I get April 2025, we're going to hear. Time is fluid, but that's what I get. April 2025. May she rest in peace. But she will only, I guess she will only rest in peace until her story is told about everything that happened with them. Man, I just got images, really horrible images. Let me clear the energy. Whew, that man, he's a demon. Absolute demon. And then we'll move on to Jennifer Lopez. Oh my gosh, let's clear the energy. That was heavy energy. Not from her, from him, but what he did to her. And he likes to taint purity, you know? Horrible. Horrible, horrible. Okay, let's move on to J-Lo. So I did a recent video about J-Lo, and I said that she's still in contact with Diddy, I can tell that. But I also feel like they're going to have some kind of, if it's not him, she's going to have a romance with an ex who's in hot water. Now, they just said Diddy got married. I don't know. I have to do a video about that soon. I will. But for now, let's see J-Lo, his past, present, and future with her. Okay. So, past being 5 of Cups. I see her being really emotionally startled by him, like scared. I actually see him like taking her arm and going like this to her. She's like, okay, okay, okay. So I do see that there must have been some kind of DV that she's not speaking about. I think she might be too afraid to speak about it. Something that I pick up very strongly about J-Lo is that she's very good at deception. She's very good. You know, when I tell people I've dated lots of actors, they say to me, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Even though my best relationships have been with actors, I often get the response of, oh, poor you. And I get why, because of this. Because actors can be very deceitful in their line of work. And so they can sometimes bring it on or take it, carry it through the rest of their lives. And I see that with her, is that she's very good at deceiving. She's very good at playing two faces. She's very good at, you know, lying to get her out of something or through something. And I see her putting on like a brave face and be like, you know what, everything was fine. He was so good to me. But behind closed doors, she was crying, startled, afraid of him. Very, very afraid. So the present being 6 of Cups, I see, even though they're older, I think Jennifer Lopez has deep issues that she hasn't worked through, and I cover this in my past video that I did of her. She hasn't worked through. I don't think she will work through because she's very centered around money and making herself look good, which they share in common. I definitely see that her and Diddy sharing that in common. And because of that, I think he has some secrets on her. They've helped each other get through some, I believe, illegal things. And because of that, they'll always be tight. It's almost like they grew up together. You know, that's why you see that growing up. They grew up together. You know those kind of toxic friends that they have something on each other? That's why they'll always be, even though they talk smack about each other behind each other's backs, because they committed some wrong things together, because they stole together, because they know each other's worst secrets, that they've hit rock bottom together, they'll always be soul tied. It's trauma bonding. They have a deep trauma bond that they will not break free of. And with 4 of Wands being the future, we will see, because I strongly believe that she's going to be by his side in some form or fashion, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's friendship. She's going to stay by his side and stay loyal to him. And I did predict in a video I did that he's going to come out with some kind of campaign. She's going to be a part of that campaign. Just watch, stay tuned, because I really believe it. 6 of Wands is bottom of the deck, and they're going to have this false sense of friendship. They're going to be holding hands, you know, that kind of thing. The fakeness for the world to see. Completely, completely fake for the world to see. So that's what I have on here. I go back and forth about J-Lo because I think she's so deep in her narcissism and her self-hatred and fear. I know that comes across strong, but I think she's very deep in that herself and being so fame driven, and you know, everything's about fame, but she doesn't really take the chance to look at herself and really do the internal work. And it's unfortunate, but I don't think she ever really will. Okay, so let's get to Cassie. Cassie's a Sun in Virgo. We know a lot about the situation. I mean, we don't really know a lot, you know. We don't think we even have touched the surface of what she went through. My heart goes out to her. My heart goes out to all these women. Let's see. So whenever cards jump out like that, I feel like she must want to say something, but she can't. But she's waiting for the right time to say it. And she will. So let's see. She will. She'll definitely say it at some point. Okay, so this, you know, this corroborates what I said about, I don't know if I did it in this live or in the past reading that I did of Diddy, that I said that I dated a music producer. In the beginning, I didn't want to date him, but he basically forced his way into my life. And I see that here with Diddy and Cassie. He forced his way into her life. And he showered her with gifts, told her she was great. He love bombed. They call it love bombing. And through the love bombing process, you know, she was so young when they met. I can't even imagine giving my 10 years of my youth to somebody like that. My heart goes out to her, really. Sometimes I feel like that about my longest relationship. I feel like I gave him way too much time, so I can only imagine how she feels. So with the present being 10 of Pentacles, she's building, she's rebuilding. It's funny because he's building too, but it's like they came together but repel, and she's working for light and he's working for darkness. And so she's building. I think I see her with kids, obviously her own kids, but other kids too, working with kids, doing charity, stuff like that. And he is in the dark side, you know, dark side. And being so opposite, I think that's what he was drawn to. He's very drawn to innocence. But because there is this opposite, you know, to me, light always wins. And I don't mean light in the sense of, you know what I mean. Light always wins. Light is the truth. The truth and connection to the higher always wins. And that's why it's important for light workers. And I consider her a light worker, speaking your truth. After going through such horrendous things, doing the healing work, still remaining as positive and as gracious as you can be. That's light work. When you do that, it counteracts the darkness. And that's what's happening. A lot of her work she's doing is counteracting. Not even meaning to, just by proxy. So with the Empress being as the future, I definitely see her. I wouldn't be surprised if Misa and her end up working together. And Misa ends up joining her. And starting different foundations, stuff like that. And really educating people about DV, opening people's eyes. I think she's already opened people's eyes. And 9 of Wands, one day she will tell her story. She will definitely tell her story one day. When it's the right time. I get in the next 3 years. Time is fluid, but that's what I get. Okay, so let's get to the last one, who is his recent current, Carisha, Young Miami, who is the sun in Aquarius. She's February 11th. Birthday's 5 days after mine. So let's see. Okay, so initially when her and Diddy met, she saw with the Fool card him as like a ticket, a meal ticket out. And I will say this about Sun and Aquarius, sometimes we can be very, and that's I suppose the Saturn ruling. Sometimes we can feel, which is similar to Scorpio, we can feel wronged by the world and be out for vendetta against people. And that was her. She met him and her like F everybody energy, you know. And that F everybody energy he liked. Because he was like, she's different. She doesn't care, you know. These other women, they care too much. She doesn't care. And he's got like, even when he's with her, you can see the pictures. He's like, he's less controlling because of her rambunctiousness, you know. But the problem is, right now, Eight of Swords, her veil is being released. She's starting to see things. I'm telling you, as an Aquarius, hell hath no fury like an Aquarius scorned. We are very spiteful people when we get wronged. We will get justice. We will do whatever it takes to make sure that the person that wronged us gets theirs. I'm telling you, we won't stop until justice is served. And right now she's going through the process of, you know what, I'm starting to see who he is. Before she was like, whatever, but this video that dropped, she's like, I don't think he's gotten to that point with her. He's done a few things, but I don't think he's gone to that point with her. He would have, and he would if she stayed. But she's going to go back and forth. They're going to have a back and forth relationship. And then King of Swords being the future, he's actually the one who's going to decide. He doesn't want anything to do with her. Because she's such a loose cannon. He needs to have full control or nothing. But because she's such a loose cannon, he's going to be like, you know what? She's way too wild for me. She's way too out there. She doesn't care. She won't be quiet when I need her to be quiet. But with right now, she's still under some of his facade, but soon she will unleash. And when she unleashes, she's going to tell everybody about things he's done, because she's an Aquarius. You know, Aquarius, that's just how we are. We can't hold our tongue. There's no such thing. we just can't. And she's going to unleash. And when she unleashes, it's April 2025 is going to be a very tough month for Diddy. Very. If he's still alive by then. So that's what I have for you guys. I love you all. Please comment, please like, please subscribe. If you want more lives like this, let me know. Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you and being in the chat. Take care.